Okay, at the time of this recording, I have been teaching calligraphy for 5 years. And if you know anything about calligraphy, or if you've been with me for a while, you know that calligraphy and handwriting are two different things. In fact, I have a full video about how calligraphy and handwriting are totally different skills. So if you want to understand that a little bit more, you can go watch it. However, over the years, every once in a while, I have someone approach me inevitably saying they don't want to learn calligraphy, they just want to make their handwriting better because they have crappy handwriting. And although I don't actually teach how to make your handwriting better, I only teach calligraphy, I do have some tips for you that will help you if you're in that boat. By the way, before we jump in, if you're new here, I'm Becca with The Happy Ever Crafter, and I teach calligraphy and hand lettering, which again are different than handwriting. But if you're in this position and you want to learn more about all of that stuff, you're in the right place. So just make sure that you hit subscribe on this channel if you're interested, because I put out 2 new videos every single week. But for now, let's get into how to improve your handwriting. So I have sort of a 3-part formula for you. Part 1 is to notice. And this might feel like a wishy-washy woo-woo thing that's not super actionable for you to fix your handwriting, but it's super important. So if you want to make an effort to change your writing, you actually have to notice what it is you don't like about your writing and what you want to change about it, but then also what you do like about other people's lettering and their handwriting and how they implement it into theirs that you could steal for your own. So this sounds a bit crazy, but I've literally been doing this my whole life and stealing other people's handwriting. And when I see somebody's writing that I like, I snap a picture of it, or I just like make a mental note, and then I assess what it is about their writing that I like that I could incorporate into my own. True story, specifically remember back when I was working in interior design, I had another designer send me an email with a scan of a floor plan that she had doodled all over and written all over. And I loved the way she drew her letter M. Like I was like stopped by it because I loved it so much. And I sent her an email and I said, "Oh my God, just so you know, like I love the way you write the letter M." She never replied to me because, let's be real, she probably thought that was so weird that I emailed her, that I took the time to email her and tell her that I liked how she did her capital M. But it's really a part of the way that I do things and the way that I recommend you do. And that's how I write my M's now. So it's a good story. But long story short, take pictures or screenshots whenever you notice something you like about someone else's writing and really notice it. Like notice exactly what it is about their style that you like. Is it one certain letter? Is it a bunch of different letters? And how can you incorporate it into your own? Okay, step number 2 comes down to practice. And again, that's probably not the answer you wanted to hear. You wanted actionable steps that are going to be easy, but it really comes down to practice. So what I recommend is go on your computer and find some basic sans serif fonts. Here are a few that I like, and they're really basic, but you could choose whatever style you want. And this may even be controversial, but you could even use Comic Sans if you want to get something that's a little bit less rigid. So type out the alphabet with whichever font you choose and then print it off. So you could also print off some random words. It doesn't have to be just the alphabet. So what I've done here is I've printed the alphabet, and then I also Googled random sentences and I copy pasted them all into my font and I've printed them out here. Then what you're gonna do is put a piece of tracing paper over top, and you're actually just gonna purposefully learn and trace the letters. So realistically, this part is probably gonna feel silly and elementary because really it is what we did in elementary school, but it's really helpful. And it doesn't mean that you need all your letters to look like a font. These are just a really good example, and you don't have to write just like these letters. I wouldn't write some of my letters this way, but it's a good exercise for slowing down and paying attention and getting some basic structure back into your messy letters. So practice this part as much as you can, just getting used to slowing down, paying attention to each letter, and taking note of exactly how the letters are built up so that you can incorporate, again, some of that structure back into your own work. And then step number 3 is just to implement all of the things you've learned. So now you've practiced some really basic alphabets, and you've also banked up some screenshots and taken images of other people's alphabets and starting to notice their styles and things that you like. So now it's really just a matter of starting to force yourself to implement those things into your own work when you're doing any sort of handwriting. So really slowing down, really remembering all of the things that you liked about the other alphabets and the things that you've started to implement structure-wise, and forcing yourself to implement them into your own. So that you can do this slowly over time. It could be a matter of you're just writing a sentence and you remember that you wanted to change up your letter A and just change the letter A at first, and then continue to add little things in over time, and eventually it's going to totally change the look of your writing. But long story short, the answer to improving your handwriting is really just to notice and to slow down and to be intentional about practicing it a little bit neater. That's really all there is to it, because we all have learned how to write in the past. We all know how to write. It's just that some of us got messy over time, and you need to go back to those basics and really relearn in your mind to slow down. There's actually no magic formula, but the first step to improving your handwriting is to admit you have messy handwriting. And if you're watching this, then you're already there. So now you're on your way to improving it, and I hope this was helpful. I would love it if you would hit the like button down below if it was. And again, if you want more content like this from me, or if you do want to learn calligraphy once you've improved your basic handwriting, make sure to subscribe, because I put out 2 new videos every single week, and I'll see you next time.